One Zambia, one nation. Welcome to Zanis News. I'm your presenter, Mwangala Kapandula. Let's take you through the headlines. President Hichilema urges Zambians to emulate late Bigoka overseer. Vice President Mutalena Lumango says culture is an instrument of peace and national unity. Government commences monitoring of 700 beneficiaries on food security pack. Plus, Southern Province targets to vaccinate over 750 children against polio. Zanis News in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema has urged Zambians to emulate the late Bible Gospel Church in Africa Bigoka overseer Peter Ndlovu's attitude of unity and love despite having opposing views with others. President Hichilema said this when he addressed mourners during the funeral service of the late Archbishop in Lusaka today. Mutalekani gives us the details.
For the life of the late Bible Gospel Church in Africa, Bigoka overseer Peter Ndlovu. President Hakainde Hichilema officiated at the funeral service of the late Bigoka overseer. And mourners from all walks of life turned up to pay their last respects to Archbishop Ndlovu. The head of state praised the late Archbishop for showing love and unity despite not always agreeing in opinion with others.
Sometimes we had common understanding. You all know, those of you who knew him more than me, you have spoken already. But there is value in us sharing views. They add to the totality of improvement to any debate. What is important is mutual respect, understanding that God made us in his own desire, but his image, but in diversity. But when we collect all these aspects, we produce something better for society and for God's people.
Turns to eulogize the late Bigoka overseer.
I never thought a day like this would come so soon. But it is the will of God that we're here today. Papa, the unconditional love that you showed us during your stay on earth is something that we will treasure for the rest of our lives, because you cared for us, you protected us, you guided us, and you corrected us whenever we went out of line.
Emphasizing this, God who answers prayers has answered us this way. We cannot question his wisdom. He has power to heal, and he has healed him perfectly, never to suffer again. Glory to God, but let's accept the answer God has given us.
It was such that, every time that we had a function in the family or functions in the family, he was always there for us. He married off 3 of our children in the families.
Archbishop Ndlovu died on October 13, 2023 at Minasoko Military Hospital after an illness. Mtalekani for Zanis News in Lusaka.
Now, following a memorandum of understanding MOU signed between the Public Service Microfinance Company and the Zambia Defense Forces to offer affordable loan facilities, the microfinance company took time to visit the Zambia Air Force ZAF Airport base. The company interacted with the officers on how they can access the various loan products, which includes the Public Service Agriculture Asset Loans to enable them invest in agriculture. The details are in this report.
A team from the Public Service Microfinance Company today paid a visit to Zambia Air Force Lusaka base to enlighten the officers on the various loan products available for the men and women in uniform. The move follows a memorandum of understanding which was recently signed by Public Service Microfinance Company and the Zambia Defense Forces to offer loans to officers at affordable interest rates.
We have been providing these services to all public service workers, with the exception of yourselves, the men and women in uniform, up until a month or two ago when we signed the MOU with the Zambia Air Force, Zambia Army, as well as the Zambia National Service. And so all of these three wings are now eligible to access our products. We have come late, I admit, but there were a lot of modalities that needed to be put in place before we could sign you on. Like I said in Livingston, it is better late than never. We are here now, we are here to provide you with our services, and our services are very, very affordable as we have it. Our primary mandate, like I say, is to provide affordable financing to you, the public service workers. And at the time of establishment, it was premised on the backdrop that a lot of us in the public service were being exploited by a lot of the financial lenders on the market.
And Mr. Hambote emphasized the need for the men and women in uniform to invest, especially in agriculture, to make the country food secure.
The assets we're referring to under the agricultural law are not just limited to inputs. The agricultural loan, asset loan product extends to facilitation of acquisition for purchase of tractors, hammer mills, essentially the mechanization equipment that you require on your respective farms. And so this product is available. We are financing for you to acquire tractors, hammer mills, maize shellers, center pivots, if that's what you would like to install. So long as you have the source of water, we're able to finance those.
And Zambia Air Force Lusaka Base Acting Station Commander Lieutenant Colonel Kennedy Chilala urged the officers to use this opportunity to access affordable finances to help them improve their well-being and their families through building and investment. And delegation leader Colonel Dennis Muyemba also stressed the importance for soldiers to have an entrepreneurship mindset by identifying a number of business ventures in order to increase their pool of income through accessing affordable loans. Audrey Kalenga, Zanis News, Lusaka.
We move to Northern Province. Provincial Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpondo has called on the Ministry of Agriculture to expedite the distribution of farming imports. Mr. Mpondo says the early distribution will enable farmers conduct farming activities on time to ensure food security. He was speaking during the Farmer Import Support Program, FISIP, provincial flag-off in Mungwi District yesterday. Ntazanga Mumba has more in this report.
Timely distribution of subsidized farming inputs helps farmers to adequately plan ahead of the season, thus contributing to increased productivity. This is why government is committed to ensuring timely delivery of the inputs for the 2023-2024 season to farmers under the Farmer Input Support Program. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpondo flagged off the provincial distribution exercise in Mungwi District.
UCF has delivered 294,945 by 50 kg or 100% of their total contracted amount of decompound fertilizer in all the districts of Northern Province. Meanwhile, most of the seed have also been delivered to all the districts. This state of affairs excites us as government, and it should also give you, our dear farmers, the energy to even work extra hard so that you could once again record a bumper harvest.
Northern Province Agriculture Coordinator Sylvester Nyendwa also spoke at the event.
6 bags. 3 bags ya panshi, 3 bags ya pamuru, na 10 kg ya mbuto ya mataba, na mbuto na himbi ya legume at your own choice. Nileta trefoyo kutina, mune ya kana. Pantu, trefoyo kumona. If you are farmer bangakula, enoku bashita win off.
The farmers were on hand to share their thoughts.
Government nakabiri pamusango wakutupela umufundo panshita nomba bashima famu bala ipekanya bwino pantu umufundo waisa panshita isuma sana
Traza na tumulo kwa tiri mu district ero pakashita kama kena tumbuko watu bala mbokusaranganya ichiko na tatu akaba affected ngabashikuli mi pantu vindu vyaisa munchite isuma.
Itazanga Mumba for Zanis in Mongwe District.
Still on agriculture news, the Department of Community Development in Choma District has started the monitoring of 700 recipients who benefited from the 2023-2024 Food Security Pack FSP program under the wetland component. District Community Officer Esther Kalonga says the beneficiaries got their inputs in July and August this year and have already started selling their produce. Vice President Mutale Nalumango says culture is an instrument of peace, national unity and development as it inculcates a sense of value in children as Zambia's future hope and leaders. Mrs. Nalumango says it is everyone's responsibility to continue advancing and inculcating culture in the youths as promoted by the late First Republican President Kenneth Kaunda through the famous song Tiende Pamozi Ndimutima Umo that encouraged togetherness with one heart. The Vice President was speaking in a speech read on her behalf by Minister of Livestock and Fisheries, Makozo Chikote, at the second Independence Anniversary Carnival in Lusaka. Details in the following report by Lou Majila.
This is the second Independence Carnival held in Lusaka to showcase the country's unity in cultural diversity ahead of Zambia's 59th independence celebration. The event was characterized by a mobile display of various cultural dances and performances representing all the 10 provinces of Zambia and exhibited to residents of Kalingalinga, Mtendere and surrounding areas before converging at Nkoloma Stadium where the activities continued. In a speech read on her behalf by Minister of Livestock and Fisheries, Makozo Chikote, Vice President Mutale Nalumango called for appropriate use of politics to unite the country.
In order to achieve peace through culture, it is important that the cultural sector is objective-driven, as this cultural event brings all Zambians' cultural heritage together, showing that it is its intention of the government to move the country forward through culture. We are determined to usher in an era where politics are used to strengthen rather than weakening the unity. Politics must be used to strengthen our unity.
Acting Lusaka Province Permanent Secretary Alex Mapushi emphasized the importance of preserving our culture as a country and appreciated the organizers of the event.
Such events, therefore, remind us to get in touch with who we really are as a people. Therefore, as government, we shall be in the forefront of ensuring that the values, the cultures that we have as Zambians are not washed away with the madness that we have today in the world.
Earlier, Mr. Mapushi led the guest of honor on a tour of exhibitions by various organizations and institutions, including the Zambia National Service and the National Heart Hospital. Zambia's 59th independence is commemorated under the theme, Accelerating National Development Through Equitable Distribution of Resources. Lou Majila, reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary for Administration, Mambo Hamaundu, says government wants to ensure that the livelihood of the people is improved, especially the vulnerable and less privileged. Mr. Hamaundu says as the country celebrates its 59th independence anniversary, it is important to remember and honor freedom fighters who fought for the liberty that the country is enjoying today. Details in this report.
It was a joyous occasion at the Material Aftercare when Ministry of Local Government Permanent Secretary for Administration, Mambo Hamaundu, visited the center. Mr. Hamaundu made a donation of assorted food and non-food items ranging from mealie meal, cooking oil, sugar, among others, on behalf of government.
We can never be too busy to help one another, to be human beings, Ubuntu, because that is who we are. Government, we have taken a position to say, as we celebrate our 59th independence anniversary, we have themed it to say, ours is accelerating development through equitable distribution of resources. That is the theme. So now, how can we, as government, accelerate development through equitable distribution of resources if we cannot be available to help those who are in need? I'm reliably informed that this is a transit home, and a number of you here may have challenges. You were probably admitted at a hospital, or you've come for a review, but you may not have sufficient resources to look after yourselves.
And Material Aftercare Officer in charge, Regina Piri, says the center has 42 clients, adding that the donated items will go a long way in uplifting their livelihood.
We have about 42 clients, though this number varies as it is a transit home, people come and go. We have about 13 females and 26 males. On behalf of the center, Material Aftercare Center, I would like to express my deepest thanks for the donations that you brought here today. These donations is very much appreciated and will go a long way in uplifting the lives of our clients that we have here.
Meanwhile, Precious Kabwengwa, a client at the center, commended the government for always reaching out to less privileged in society.
You can't be too busy where kuchitandiza kuno kumana ndiye pai chitiamikira kuti mulungu aonjezere mphamvu zanu na kutukumbukira pane mutikumbukira ndiye tiamikira kuti government ya Zambia imatikumbukira sitima zimvera kukhala bodayika chifukwa pano pane tinga atina ma problems yosiyana. Some of us we are vulnerable, sitizo kale tingashitire, sitizo kale tingaende koma mumatisamalira mutikira konzeri.
Audrey Kalenga, Zanis News, Lusaka.
Lusaka Province Minister Shil Mliata and former Minister of Youth and Sport Kenneth Chipungu says there is need to teach young people about Zambia's independence struggle and how the country's forefathers sacrificed their lives for Zambia to be liberated. The duo was speaking in Chamba Valley when pupils from Malasek Academy celebrated the country's independence ahead of the official celebrations next Tuesday on 24th October. Here's a report.
As the country counts down to the Independence Day on October 24th, a number of activities have been lined up, while some schools, especially private schools, Zambia's 59th Independence Anniversary celebrations are on. Lusaka Province Minister Shil Mliata was guest of honor at Malase Academy in Chamba Valley of Lusaka, where children took part in a number of activities as part of independence celebrations under the theme Zambia at 59, accelerating national development through equitable distribution of resources.
I am happy to be here because I'm addressing the future generation of Mother Zambia so that you are educated of the values of one Zambia, one nation.
Ms. Mliata also reaffirmed government's commitment to improve the education standards in the country.
Government, under the leadership of our president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has embarked on educational reforms to shape the unity identity, foster development, and address many challenges that had shaped our education system.
Malase Academy Director Kenneth Chipungu says there is need to educate the young ones on Zambia's independence struggle.
Management decided to hold this function in order to impart independence knowledge that our forefathers went through. The teachers were teaching these children where we came from colonial days, struggle for independence, up to now.
Jonathan reporting for Zanis News in Lusaka.
In Western Province, civil servants are geared for Independence Day celebrations as they have been preparing for the day through various activities prior to the commemorations. Take a look.
Consortium of civil servants in Mong District have marched from provincial administration to Nguru Hotel ahead of Independence Day celebration held annually on the 24th of October in Western Province. Officiating at the pre-independence marathon march at provincial administration today, Western Province Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary Richard Mwanda highlighted the importance of this day.
Celebrate this independence. We celebrate it once in a year, but I think we keep on reflecting and doing all those good things throughout the year, throughout our lives, as long as we maintain this peace and unity. So as a province, we came up with this initiative just to create this awareness, just to remind our communities that this is a very important day to all of us, and we must continue appreciating this day.
Speaking on behalf of other marchers, Mong Municipal Council Director of Administration Wina Grace has encouraged all the people in Western Province to turn out in a large number to celebrate Independence Day.
I just want to encourage them to continue participating and celebrating independence. Remember, our forefathers, they fought for this independence, and so we should also continue. Hence, we are doing this awareness. It's a marathon all the way up to Ngulu Hotel, just to inform the public that we still value independence even as at today, 2023.
Meanwhile, Chimambo Kachere, Mong senior citizen, has appreciated people who took part in the Zambian independence struggle.
The goodness of independence is that we are free now. We can do, our movement is free, we can move going anywhere where we feel like going. So independence is very important to us, especially as elderly people. We shouldn't shun this day. This day, if we never had President Kaunda, who has done a lot, we could have lost a lot of things because we were going to be killed by this time.
Roger Swiper reporting for Zanis in Mong District of Western Province.
Government says ensuring universal health coverage in all parts of the country remains at the top of its development agenda. Eastern Province Minister Peter Piri says government is also building resilience towards the goal of ensuring universal coverage by addressing major challenges that affect the health sector. Still in health news, Southern Province is ranked number 2 among the 10 provinces in Zambia in polio vaccination refusals, with about 268 parents declining to have their children vaccinated in the previous campaign. The refusals are attributed to, among others, religious beliefs and side effects. The Provincial Health Office has since called for active stakeholder participation in breaking the myths and misconceptions as the province targets to vaccinate over 750 children in the 4th round scheduled for October 26 to 29, 2023. Here's a report.
Southern Province is getting ready to start the 4th round of the polio vaccination campaign from October 26 to 29 this year, targeting the children of 8 years and below.
The province had the last campaign specifically targeting oral polio type 2 in August, and we're doing this 4th round this October. So basically the idea is that we're supposed to reach all the children that are below 8 years of age in our 15 districts of the province. So it is very important, and we take this opportunity to call upon all members of community to support this endeavor.
However, the province recorded a setback in the previous campaign.
In the past, we've also have unfortunate situations where some parents have refused for the children to be vaccinated. Reasons that were given, others are attributing religious beliefs, others are fatigued by the number of rounds of vaccines that we've been able to give.
At a stakeholders meeting held to prepare for the upcoming campaign, strategies to reduce the refusals are being devised.
The traditional leaders and the church, the faith-based leaders, they are very critical. For them, you propose to them to come with mechanisms for those who are refusing to receive the vaccines.
I think there should be a counter-attack on this misinformation by you, the experts. Maybe you can aggressively do this by engaging people on radios
government and partners make sure to say these interventions are created. So we are trying as much as possible to explain, and stakeholders like yourselves, you can also be able to take a part and make sure to say this information goes right up to the community. We do acknowledge also that this misinformation comes in a lot of ways, so we're also targeting that source of misinformation.
Costa Kimdenda, Zanis, in Joma District, Southern Province.
Lunga District has successfully carried out its first ever cesarean operation. The operation, led by Lunga District Health Director Nicholas Sakala, was undertaken using an improvised theatre at Kasoma Rural Health Center, which is the biggest health facility in the district. Take a look at this report.
Lunga, established as a district in 2011, had never seen such a medical procedure conducted within its boundaries due to the absence of a surgical theatre at the Kasoma Lunga Rural Health Center.
We continue doing these operations as our women because it's costly when it comes to the health. So congratulations team and everyone. That's the first baby born out of the cesarean section in Lunga. I'm very glad to announce that the district has successfully conducted an operation for the first time, where a woman who is a G6/5 came, who was weighing 3.4 kg. These efforts would not be achieved without the support, of course, from the Ministry of Health, the provincial offices, the district, and the entire team from Lunga.
Dr. Nicholas Sakala, the Lunga District Health Director, led the remarkable surgical team that carried out this life-saving operation. He and his dedicated staff worked tirelessly to ensure the successful delivery of the baby.
History that has been made, because ever since it was declared a district, this has not been done. Knowing that Lunga doesn't have a hospital, a main hospital, so the highest facility is a rural health center. But with innovation, we've managed to create a mini theater where operations are being done.
And the joyous mother couldn't be happier with the outcome. This development is but just the beginning of good things to come. For Zanis News, Peter Shuaya, Lunga District.
Choma District Commissioner Sikaleya Gamela has urged residents to build stronger houses that will stand the test of time to withstand environmental hazards. Speaking in an interview with Zanis today, Mr. Gamela says residents should also engage the Ministry of Agriculture to get advice on what kind of seed variety to plant, bearing in mind the effects of climate change. And Southern Province Meteorological Officer Victor Wupe says the province is expected to experience flash floods and drought. More in this report.
Choma District in Southern Province was one of the worst hit areas in terms of floods in the last rainy season. Several houses in selected areas had collapsed due to the heavy downpour, and working with other stakeholders, government relocated the affected families to a safer place. With the onset of the rainy season, Choma District Commissioner Sikalela Gamela urges residents to build their houses using the right materials to avoid falling prey of avoidable disasters.
Our members of the community to build strong structures. That is very, very important, because government will never come and build strong structures for everyone. So it's upon ourselves to ensure that the structures that we put up are those that can stand up a test of time, because we depend upon well wishers.
The district commissioner is also urging the residents of Choma to engage the Ministry of Agriculture on what sort of seed to plant, bearing in mind the effects of climate change.
What we want to advise our farmers is to plant early maturing crop variety, so that at least
regardless of what time we're going to have the rains, at least we're going to have something. So I want to urge our farmers that it is important to plant early maturing variety.
Kalundu Ward in Balava constituency was also affected, and government is already on the ground to cushion the situation.
Quarters of the farmers in Mangwanti, they are under government support program, FISIP. So they are really prepared. They are just waiting for this system to kick off. If upon starting receiving the impulse, they are ready, and they are going to change the mode of the mode of funding, whereby they are this time others have engaged into reaping, so that at least waterlogging is reduced in a way.
Meteorological Department in Southern Province has predicted that the province is expected to experience both flash floods and drought.
There are chances that storm conditions, isolated storm conditions, will be quite prominent, especially where temperatures are too high, like the valley areas. And storm conditions associated with heavy rainfall as well as strong windy conditions. So these will be quite prominent, quite isolated in certain areas, and people should always take note of that and make sure that they see their structures and the roofing of their structures. They have to be done well so that they are not the victim too high, like the valley areas. And storm conditions associated with heavy rainfall as well as strong windy conditions. So these will be quite prominent, quite isolated in certain areas, and people should always take note of that and make sure that they see their structures and the roofing of their structures. They have to be done well so that they are not the victim.
Jane Simalumba, Zanis in Choma, Southern Province.
Still in environmental news, Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu has challenged members of the public to join the fight against climate change by planting trees. Mr. Mpundu says the indiscriminate cutting down of trees is among the major causes of climate change which need urgent attention. Chibibi Nyongani has more in this report.
The adverse effects of climate change has been a source of worry to government and its cooperating partners. And in order to cushion the impact, government has launched a tree planting campaign dubbed the Growing Green Zambia program under the theme, "Let us plant and protect the future." Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu, who graced the launch in Kasama, called for concerted efforts in protecting the environment.
This is an important one. To raise awareness among all of us, including the communities, about the importance of trees and forests for the environment, for society, for economy, leading to a change in attitude and behaviors.
Yvonne Chulu is Ministry of Education Director in charge of secondary education.
We have an obligation as citizens to support and manage this program. All the learning institutions are asked to take an active role in the national Growing Green Zambia tree planting program. We ask them not only to plant the trees, but also to manage the trees.
Meanwhile, Kasama District Commissioner has encouraged Kasama residents to take tree planting exercise seriously.
I wish to encourage the leadership of Kasama District and the community at large to emulate the Ministry of Education by ensuring planting of trees in homestead or farms in order to curb the effects of climate change.
Chivivi Nyongani reporting for Zanis in Kasama District, Northern Province.
In education news, Copperbelt Province Permanent Secretary Augustine Kasongo has urged girls to avoid getting involved in sexual activities as they risk contracting HIV and AIDS. Mr. Kasongo says it is worrying that a number of adolescent girls are living with HIV and AIDS in the region, hence the need for them to desist engaging in sexual activities. The Permanent Secretary said this in a speech read on his behalf by Ndola District Commissioner Joseph Piri during the Copperbelt Province International Day of a Girl Child in Ndola. In other news, Minister of Youth, Sports and Arts, Elvis Nkandu, says government will continue to provide an enabling environment that supports stakeholder participation. Mr. Nkandu says stakeholders must come on board and support government's efforts in promoting youth empowerment programs. He said this in a speech read for him by Central Province Permanent Secretary Milna Mwanakampwe during the 5th graduation ceremony at Ngungu Youth Resource Center in Kabwe. Chief Katietie of Isoka District has urged government to carry out intensive sensitization programs aimed at assisting citizens. Chief Katietie is happy that government has good intentions towards improving the livelihood of people by providing them with loans in agriculture and other sectors. He was speaking when Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development, Elias Muranga, paid a courtesy call on him at his palace in Isoka District. And the minister acknowledged the concerns that processing of loans under the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission is taking long. Mr. Mubanga explained that the commission is overwhelmed with applications currently standing at the value of 30 billion kwacha. And Isoka District Commissioner Jairo Simbeye says the district is agriculture driven, adding that farmers in the area are happy with early distribution of inputs.
They cannot achieve what you want them to achieve minus sensitization. So what I'm appealing from your side, from the government side, is that make sure that there is a proper sensitization, when giving out these loans to people. And we need everyone to access those loans. That's the only way we curb this issue of dependence on the part of the government. People shouldn't be expecting every year the government to subsidize fertilizers. No. We need people to be independent. They have to do on their own and make business on their own. That's why we are failing to do business as the upcoming commercial farmers.
The funding to CEC was very low. It was just about 25 million kwacha per year. But when we took office, we increased to 350 in the first year, to 350 million in the first year. Second, 362 million. And next year, this 24, it's 391 million. That is specifically minus operations funds to Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission. Now, because of that, the Commission has received a lot of applications. The value hitting to 30 billion. 30 billion kwacha. 30 billion, and you think of even if it was increased, like next year 382 million. So somewhere, that's why at times when you, let's say Busulu, you apply 100, maybe you only get 10 or 15. It's because of that. Because it's the entire country. So that is, but we're trying to find ways and means of raising more money as government, or even go PPP, looking for someone with money to come and invest in the SME sector.
The inputs, they have come early. We have received most of these fertilizer. I'm saying this, Honorable Minister, because your ministry cutters across regarding these cooperatives, and it's really helping us to understand and to know exactly where we are going, looking at we have never received these inputs early enough like what you have received this time around here in Isoka. So,
as we end the news, a recap of the headlines. President Hichilema urges Zambians to emulate late Bigoka overseer. Vice President Mutalena Lumango says culture is an instrument of peace and national unity. Government commences monitoring of 700 beneficiaries on food security pack. Plus, Southern Province targets to vaccinate over 750 children against polio. That's all we had for you on the Zanis News Desk. Do make a date with us next time. On behalf of the production team, this has been Mwangala Kapandula. Thank you for watching.